So I previously said that this 5 volt 4 amp 18 watt PD module that I now think is the SW6106, I'm almost certain it is. I said that it didn't heat up, but that was connected just to one cell, and now I've got it connected to 10 cells in parallel, and the IC is heating up to about 60 degrees Celsius pretty dang quick, and I even had it getting hotter than that prior to this. These cells were at about 3.68, 3.69, and that was only giving me one indicator light on, and it was just flashing. So I thought this thing was broken at first, but no, it thinks that 3.7 volts is only worthy of having one bar flashing, that's it. So that kind of threw me off, but yeah, this thing was hot as a mofo. I'm glad I had barley paper down because that would have been really bad. This one cell would have really gotten hot, but there's a little bit of a gap in there. So yeah, I don't have my thermometer with me, I'm not at home, but I have my DL24 and I've got an external little temperature probe, and I stuck it on here, and without the fan, we were getting up into the 70s, and right now without the fan, just wanted to show you. There we go, now she's climbing. Lately it's been capping out at about mid-50s, but I don't have this thing taped down, so I can't get a perfect temperature measurement on it. And like, I tried to use my knife to hold it down, but obviously that was working as a heat sink. I don't want to use my hand because that's, gonna kind of work as a bit of a heat sink too, but here you'll see, just using my finger on top of it, it's gonna stop around here because my finger is 37 Celsius or something like that. So you'll see, oh god, this is hot, this kind of burns. So I don't think it'll get much higher than this because my finger's technically cooling it off. God, man, these LEDs are freaking bright. There, now you can actually see it. Yeah, that IC right there, SW6106, it has to be. If you look at other boards that have the SW6106, they'll have an inductor just like that, same rating. You got to play around with how they got all the resistors and capacitors laid out, but fuel gauge, everything else makes sense. The switch that they don't have installed on this, but as you can see, we're actually running at 20 watts just about, which is kind of strange because earlier we were capping out at like 18 and a half. But yeah, I kind of knew that was the case. 18 watts of charging, and these things are, what, 12 watt hours a piece, if not more. So 10 of them, 120 watt hours. Yeah, it's gonna take several hours to charge. If it was completely empty, it wasn't. It was, I'd say 3.7 is over 60%. So just keep in mind that fuel gauge is wacky. I don't know, will this thing cut out once the cells dip down to 3.6? Does the boost converter not work below that? That's something I'll have to test out, because when I had a single cell attached to this, I want to say I usually had it in the 3.8 range, but I want to say I took it lower than that and didn't have any issues. But yeah, I'll make more videos because I just ordered a bunch more of these. I really like these. They're functional, they work, but shit, I thought they didn't get hot. Turns out, I think having all these cells in parallel is going to reduce the internal resistance of the whole pack as one. So these are 29 milliohms ACIR. Well, now I've got 10 of them. Technically, it should be 2.9 milliohms now, but the nickel joining it is obviously going to hinder that. So it's probably in the neighborhood of, I'd guess, 10 milliohms at most. I don't have my RC3563 with me, so I'll test that later too, and I'll let you guys know. But I messaged the seller, TZT. They've never been able to give me good answers on anything. It's always, we'll ask the engineer. You're not doing anything. So that's my guess for right now, is lower resistance somehow plays a role in how this thing works, which kind of doesn't make sense, but in a way kind of does. We'll see.